Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. We are happy to be featuring the Power of the Pen series. This series is designed to promote and elevate women who have dared to take the challenge and put their thoughts to pen in order to make an impact, influence, and change in the world. And I'm so excited because today we have the amazing, dynamic Marianne. I'm calling you Marianne. Cut.
It's okay.
We're gonna redo this.
Okay. Not a problem.
Okay, rewind. It's all good. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Mary Ellen. Why am I thinking of Marianne? It's like Gilligan's Island, right?
It would be a better name, that's true.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford and I am so happy to be featuring our Power of the Pen series. Our Power of the Pen series is designed to help feature and promote women who are making the difference by translating their thought to pen in order to transform, inspire, uplift, and change the world with their words, thoughts, and action. And I'm so excited to have the dynamic and amazing Ellen Ciganovich here with us today. How are you doing, Ellen?
I'm doing wonderful, Luana. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And we are here to talk about your book, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing.
Yes.
So I'm real excited to dig into that, but I want to tell our audience a little bit about you first.
Okay.
So Mary Ellen is a life coach, an author, a speaker. She is the founder of Real Health, LLC.
Mm-hmm.
She is an author actually of multiple books, but today we're going to focus on Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing. She has 3 shows. I don't know how she does it all. Miracles with Mary Ellen Moment, and Mary Ellen Miracle Minute. And she also is a co-host on Amazon, an Amazon show called Words I Choose to Live By with Cyrus Webb.
Yes.
How do you do it all, Mary Ellen?
I stay it keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me busy. I'm actually writing another book right now. So, it just keeps me going and gives me purpose. And I'm trying to give something a little bit back to the world so it can be better when I leave.
I love that. It's about legacy, right?
Yeah, it's just about making the world a little bit better than when you came.
I love that. Now, your book, the one that we're talking about today, T.R.U.T.H, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing. Just the title in and of itself is so provocative. Mm-hmm. And I want to sit in that for a minute. So number one, I'd like to know what prompted you to write this book? And number 2, with this title, what is it that you hope the readers will get from it? Because this is a daily devotional. And also, it's interesting because it's 366 daily truths. So you'll explain to us, where did that extra day of the year come from?
Yeah, there's a reason for that. I did 366 days because my father-in-law, who I just adored, was born on leap year. So I wanted to make sure that there was one in there for him, to honor him and anybody who is born on leap year. T.R.U.T.H, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing, was born out of my first book, which is Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. And in order to promote that book on social media, I thought, well, what can I do to promote it, but it'd be different? And so I started posting. In 2011, I started posting a truth of the day. And I would post it and I'd write a little bit about it. And then after several years, people said, well, why don't you put these in a book? Well, I didn't want to use the ones I had out there already. So I sat down. It took me 7 months to write T.R.U.T.H, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing. And I call it truth because what society thinks is truth and what truth really is are 2 different things. Everybody always says, well, this is a truth or this is my truth. Now, the truth I'm speaking about is like God is. I am the Lord thy God. That is a universal truth. Another universal truth is what you focus on expands, what you think about happens. That is a universal truth that will be applied to everyone. Whatever you focus on, if you're focused on negativity, you're generating more and more negativity in your life. And why would you do that? To the extent you break that and you focus on positive thoughts, or what I call real, my organization's called Real Health. Real stands for really enthusiastic about life. Because when you're really enthusiastic about life, what is there to worry about? What is there to fret about? What is there to be anxious about, guys? Come on, let's all wake up to our truths. When all of them are written in this book, well, not all of them, but a lot of them. And, help each other, inspire each other, and encourage each other. And those are the truths that I'm speaking about, not a truth as to whether you're going to do this or that, or I'll love you if, or I'll love you but. Those are not truths at all.
I love what you said, and let's go to because I think it's a perfect segue to two parts in your book. Page 111 and 155, and this is dealing with the mindset. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's what is it that you're thinking about? What is it that you're focusing on? Mm-hmm. And we're in the middle of the pandemic that seems to just be lingering and lingering. And with that has come so much angst, so much death, so much worry and stress and just confusion. And people are finding themselves in a really dark space and struggling to see, how can I get out? How can I even find the light of day? So if you wouldn't mind, could you please read from 111 and 155, and then just give us your thoughts and what you want the readers of this book to take away when they hear these words.
Okay, you want me to read one and then stop, or read both of them?
Both of them together.
Okay. On 111, it says, a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Your entire world depends on your attitude towards yourself. Romans chapter 12, verse 2 says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. These are very powerful words. Your right mind can assist you, or you may choose to listen to the ego mind and allow it to hold you back. Your outer world cannot change until you choose to change your consciousness. If you like your outer world the way it is, there's nothing to change. If there's anything in your outer world that you are uncomfortable with, you must first change your consciousness. Today, renew yourself through renewing your mind. And I'll go to 155. On 155, it says, your present thoughts set the path for your future life. The only limitations you have in life are the limitation your mind creates. Change the way you think, and you will change your future. Try seeing your life with endless chances for love, success, and abundance. Become aware of thoughts that are not in alignment with these goals. Envision a future full of everything you deserve. Today, concentrate on all of your limitless possibilities now. Make them a reality. And I always put enjoy the day at the end of it. That's kind of like a little signature. And what I'm talking about on both of those, and what I tell my clients is, change your thoughts, change your life. Change your mind, change your life. Okay. As you know, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1986. Okay. I was fortunate in 1986 not to have a preconceived picture as to what MS is or was or whatever. Because if you have a negative picture about a diagnosis and you go, oh my gosh, I'm going to be this way or I'm going to be that way, and you focus on it, you are actually creating that picture to happen. Any fear you have right now about let's say take the COVID virus, okay? If you fear it, you are setting it up to happen. Or even if you fear that your husband will get it, or your children will get it, or this person, you are actually giving that fear to them. Bible says you have to walk through your fears. And why would you want to have that fear placed upon anyone you love? When you change your mindset and change your consciousness, and it's not easy. Living any of these truths that I write about in this book is not easy, trust me, because I think I wrote them and I'm still trying to live them. And it's such a big truth, because people will ask me all the time, because since I have multiple sclerosis and epilepsy, and I've had Guillain-Barré before, which is a adverse reaction to a vaccine, I cannot take the vaccine. It's just not possible. The last time I had a vaccine, I could not walk for 3 months. So I'm not going to risk that. I don't see that as a possibility. So people say, aren't you afraid you're going to get COVID? No, because it's not in my consciousness. Now, when I go out, I wear a mask. I'm careful. I want to be careful around other people. I want to keep them safe. And you have to change your mindset and visualize. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, think about it, visualize it, write it down, take the action steps and do the work to make it happen. They are all such powerful truths.
I love that. And what I hear you saying, it's not only do we have control, but we have to be accountable and responsible for the life that we are co-creating, either what we're repelling or attracting to us. And a lot of people would say, wait a minute, Mary Ellen, are you saying that I'm attracting these negative situations in my life? And I want to turn that over to you, because that's something that people debate often about, right?
You're not necessarily attracting these negative situations in your life. These negative situations are coming back in your life, and they're probably coming back in your life not one time, but a second time and a third time, until you learn from them. That's the key. And you might learn the first time a little bit, and they still might come into your life, and then you learn a little bit more, and then you learn a little bit more, until you create your world. I always tell my husband and I have a running joke, because I always tell him, I live in Mary Ellen world. I like Mary Ellen world. It's nice and sunny. It's bright and cheerful most of the time. And we were having a tiff one time a few years ago, and I just looked at him and I said, you are about to get kicked out of Mary Ellen world. And we both just started laughing. And it just took the whole, see, when you have fear and you approach it with fear, it makes an explosion. It just makes it worse. And if you have fear and you approach it with love, love always breaks fear. Unconditional love, the Christ-like love. God sent Christ to teach us how to be these good human beings, and we're not listening. We're not achieving what Christ wanted us to achieve. I mean, some of us are, some of us not. I mean, I have my good and bad days. I try to do the best I can. And these truths will assist people on their life journey to choose differently, to see things differently.
So one of the things, because I know in the one passage that you read from, there was a scripture, and I know that you're a woman of faith, you're a Christian woman. Mm-hmm. But this book is not just for Christians. It crosses, it transcends all beliefs, all faiths. Mm-hmm. What would you tell someone who thinks, well, I don't know if I should read this because it uses some biblical principles, or it references biblical scriptures?
Well, I was raised Christian, and that's what I am. And so I'm going to use that. I don't use it a whole lot in the book because it's more of a spiritual book. And I tried to write it so that everyone would hear these truths. And I mean, really hear them, so that they can work them into their life. And if one Bible scripture, or maybe 10 or 20 or however many I have in there, turns them off to this book, then that's too bad, because I really know in my knowings that this book is really good for anybody that picks it up. Here last Monday, I did societal teachings and how we need to correct the societal teachings that are incorrect. And I post all these to my YouTube channel, which is at Ask Mary Ellen. If anybody wants to subscribe, it's a little pitiful YouTube channel, but it's got tons of great videos on there. And then I thought, well, what else could I do on Wednesday? Well, I could do a miracle moment. And a lot of these came from spiritual stories that I learned through the Awareness Center in Atlanta when I was doing my training. After a teacher, I thought, well, okay, what else could I do? And I was being trained in this life coach, or mindfulness coach, actually. And so a lot of the stories came from there. And I thought, well, people like these. And I'm thinking about doing something a little controversial tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll do it or not. And then my Miracle Minute, I always take from my first book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. I do a page from that, and then I'll talk about it for a little. So it goes a little bit longer than a minute, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And, it gives me my purpose to get up, and I would get a shower and get ready anyway. I would, me. I'm not going to go to the mailbox like that. But, it gets me up and going, and it gets my purpose. And, I do get nervous. Before I do them, and I pray to God, I say, okay, please put the words in my mouth they need to hear, and so far it's been okay. It's been good.
Good. And your YouTube channel, it's called Ask Mary Ellen?
It's Ask Mary Ellen on YouTube, right?
Okay. All right.
Because most people can't spell Saganovic, so I always go by Ask Mary Ellen.
Keep it simple, right?
Yeah. I know. I actually came up with that, LaWanna, because I actually wanted people to ask me questions so that I can help them. And I'm going, come on, guys, ask me some questions. I'm going to have a question and answer session with Mary Ellen one of these days, but I'm going to try to market it first so people can get their questions ready.
That sounds good. Well, speaking of questions, how do you incorporate the lessons, the truths from this book into your coaching, your life coaching?
Oh, I use them a great deal to get people out of fear, get them out of anxiety. I mean, every single one of them that's in there, or if people are going through a divorce situation, and what they don't understand is it's not about the other person. Everybody always thinks it's about the other person. No, if you don't learn about yourself, then you're going to start dating somebody else again, and you're going to go through all this rosy glow. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see the same issues pop up in the next relationship. So until you learn about you, until you do the work to learn about you, because like I said before, that's what your life is all about. Your life is all about you. It's not really about anyone else. It's good that you can take care of your kids or your spouse or anything else you have to take care of. And you can't take care of them until you take care of yourself first. So I always teach people, if you're seeing it, if you're hearing it, and if you're feeling it, then you're the one that's got the issue, not the other person.
Well, let's unpackage that a little bit more, because I know when, years ago when I finally wrapped my arms around that, saying, okay, I'm a believer of it, I was very resistant. Like, it's not me. It's him.
Oh, I know. You're preaching to the choir there, lady. I mean, I was always like, nah, it wasn't me. I mean, look how my mom brought me up. She told me I was no good because I had epilepsy and I couldn't get married, I couldn't have kids. And then she yelled at me and she hung up on me and threw me in the closet and locked the door. And I'm like, and people will go, that didn't happen to you. Well, it did happen to me. And so I was always like, no, it was my mom. No, because although I had a lot of issues with my mother, until I learned her background, until I learned about Mary Ellen, I would you end up becoming the parent you had the most issues with. Believe it, I mean, I know that's a hard ball to swallow for everybody, because I'd like to think, well, gee, I'm more like my father. No, you know, there are times when I go around the house going, oh, I was just like my mother. It just happened again. And I read 2 books on this stuff. You know, and what happens, LaWanna, is when you're aware of it. An awareness is the first step. When you become aware of, hey, I just did this. I need to take responsibility. I need to forgive myself for it, not forgive anyone else. Forgive yourself for it. Drop off. I mean, I have clients that have regrets about doing something to somebody who's been dead for a few years. I'm like, excuse me, they're not here anymore. So I do have activities where they can write letters to the other person and get their feelings out, because actually people on the other side can still hear what you're thinking. Or I believe that. I mean, my father and I have had conversations. I know that sounds strange, but we have. And, you know, you have to get those feelings of regret, of forgiveness out, so you can become at peace with yourself. And there are many exercises I have for them to do that. And it's not just one letter. You know, they do the letter, they keep it a few days, they read it again, and I have them shred it or burn it or tear it up or do whatever they need to do with it. And then if the feelings are still there, you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until it goes less and less and less and less and less. And it's not an issue for you anymore.
I love that simple technique, but again, you have to be willing to love yourself enough to do the work, right?
Exactly. And there are times, of course, sometimes I meet with people on Zoom, which I can see what they're doing. If I'm doing a phone call, I have to trust what they're saying to me, and they're not always saying to me what they're doing. I'm like, okay, guys.
Well, Mary Ellen, we are almost out of time. I'm going to let you tell the audience a little bit more about some of the things that you have upcoming, how they can reach out to you if they want to be a part of your coaching program, and how they can get your book.
Okay. You can always reach out through me through askmaryellen.com, which is my website. And there are many blogs there, many of my truths of the day, my Miracles with Mary Ellen segments are posted or changed out every Monday. Of course, on Facebook, I have a couple of pages. I have Ask Mary Ellen as one of my pages. And then I have Mary Ellen Ciganovich and Instagram. And all of these are on my website with quick links. Both of my books are on Amazon. T.R.U.T.H, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing with the beautiful peacock, which is there for a reason, because peacocks get their feathers from eating thorns. And when you eat your thorn and learn from it, you become a beautiful person, just like that beautiful peacock. And my other book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire, is also on Amazon. And you can connect with me on Monday through Words I Choose to Live By with Cyrus Webb and our other co-hosts, Darius Ewing and Melissa Webb. And just go to Ask Mary Ellen on Google, and you'll see plenty of the articles I've written and chapters for other books that I have out there.
Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. It has been amazing, an honor to have you grace the stage with me and to share your genius. I mean, you're such a calming spirit, and I love just sitting under your wisdom. And I encourage everyone, if you have a daily devotional, that's great, but you haven't seen a devotional like this. I have so many devotionals, Mary Ellen, around my house, but this is the one that I actually go to all the time.
Oh, thank you so much.
All
You're
the
such a
time.
blessing.
I really do, and I'm not just saying it because I like you. I mean, this is really good. It's a good devotional. I mean, normally, I read devotionals. I'm like, okay, that's nice, and it makes me feel good. But these devotionals make me pause and say, let me check myself. Let me really look in the mirror. Let me ask myself some hard questions that maybe I wouldn't otherwise have the courage to ask. So I encourage everyone, check out Mary Ellen, go to Amazon, get her book, Taking Responsibility and Unleashes True Healing. You're going to love it. We're coming up with the holiday season. So as she mentioned, it's a great gift. And Mary Ellen, I want to say thank you so much again for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You're always such a blessing, and you're just so easy to speak with. And I love your whole group. You know that.
Thank you. And to our listening audience, thank you for joining us again for another edition of Power of the Pen, where we are bringing authors who are elevating and challenging us through their written word to elevate to the best and highest version of ourselves. Until next time, we will see you on Power of the Pen. Take care and be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, this is so exciting. Welcome to the second half of Power of the Pen. I am LaWanna Bradford, and I am here with the platform host of the Diamond Factor Experience, Miss Barbara Beckley. How's it going, Barbara?
It's going wonderful, spectacular, amazing. I'm just happy. First day that you are under the Diamond Factor platform. I'm so glad to be a sponsor of it. But this is your day. This is your Sunday. I call it the LaWanna Takeover, the Power of the Pen.
Thank you. It's just a blessing. This is just an example of what collaboration in motion looks like. And Barbara and I are both celebrated best-selling authors, have been on numerous collaboration books, including collaborative works together. And this just seemed to be a natural fit. So we're excited about what the rest of 2022 is going to bring forward on this platform. And Barbara, what did you think about Mary Ellen and her book, Truth?
Well, okay. You said you told her that you kind of, live by this. I do too. This book is like in my face all the time. Every time I tell people, I'm like, okay, I got this from this book. I got this from this book. And you see, I have little, so yes, it's so powerful. And she's so right. I mean, you just read it and then it really just resonates with you and you put it in your life, and you put action to it. And that's what I love about her passages that she has in here. I love how she said that when she was thinking about her audience when she wrote the book, that I know she, I'm a Christian, you're a Christian, I know she's a Christian too, but she even said, I want to even reach beyond people that are not in a certain religion, so it can touch everybody's heart in that sense. So I'm glad that she looked at it in that sense, did not give up her Christianity, not at all, but she still had to make sure that she wanted to reach the mass of people at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I love about the book is it's just that no matter what your faith is, it's like you said, these are truths. And it causes you to self-reflect and uncover and discover and forgiving yourself. She mentioned that. And when you're able to do that and take ownership and accountability, it's easy to point the fingers, but take that responsibility for your life and what's happening in and around you, and then forgiving yourself. That's when you're able to unleash, right? That's when you're able to just open up the door to possibilities in your life. So to me, it's more than a devotional. It's I don't really know quite how I would classify it. It's a devotional, but yet somehow it causes you to do this internal how to, right? Internal correction without judgment. It just makes you sit back and think, is she talking to me?
It's like you're not getting beat up. It's like you're getting little taps and just say, just little reminders. And then, just to kind of look at yourself and then look at the overall thing. Because I'm telling you, when I first, received it, because I received it on my birthday last year. So I told Mary Ellen that, thank you for the best birthday gift I received this year. Because this has helped me tremendously in not only looking in the mirror at myself, but then making sure that while I'm doing that I'm looking at the people around me in my world and saying, okay, how does this affect them, how I responded, or how they respond a certain way. Now I understand why they responded, because that's what's in her passage. Sometimes it talks about, you got to look at other people and what they do and why they might be doing it. And not just, just a first time say, well, I don't want to build that person because they got an attitude problem or whatever. She makes you really think more inside of that person and say, let's go a little bit deeper.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. She mentioned like three steps, and she said the first step is awareness. The second, which is always a hard thing, I think, is taking that responsibility. And then the third, forgiving yourself. Sitting back and forgiving self. And for those of you that enjoyed the interview or maybe missed it, go back and listen to it. But you can get her book on Amazon. The paperback is available right now for $13. So again, Truth, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing by Mary Ellen Ciganovich. And you can reach her on Ask Mary Ellen, because she is not only an author, a speaker, a teacher, social media personality. She has her own show, but she's also a coach, and she can help guide and navigate you through the emotional baggage that we all tend to carry, and help you to release that so that you can truly be the best version of you.
Yes, definitely.
So we have one of the things that Author's Corner is all about. We do a little recap on the previous show, but it's just to talk about some hacks, some little pro hacks when it comes to your authors. And one of the things, Barbara, I just want us to talk about briefly is collaboration books, and how everyone, and I'm speaking generically, you jump on the bandwagon, you get in these collaboration books. But my question is, are you really collaborating? Or do you just happen to be sharing space with someone? There's a difference, right, Barbara? It's like you and I, this is an example. This is where our work, our business extended beyond the pages. And this is where power of the pen really starts to manifest. And we're looking at different opportunities and exchanges in order to spread and enhance not only our message and our purpose and our passion in life, but to support one another, to gird one another up. And so, Barbara, I'm just going to throw it to you for a second just to get your feedback on, again, the title is Collaboration Books. Are you really collaborating, or are you just sharing space?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I think about the ones that I've been in, and I know we've both been in a lot of them. And I think it really, after looking at it, I think it has to deal with the leader of that collaboration book on how they really position it too. I think it has to start with that as well, because you're asking people to get in this book. You had a mission, you had some kind of purpose that you're putting these women, men, or whatever together. And then from that point, you have to show up every time when you're talking to them about collaborating. This is not a book just individually. I'm just putting individuals, okay, you're all individually, but we're collaborating this book together. So we all should be kind of on the same page. We should be, supporting each other with this book. We should be talking about not just my chapter, but talk about everybody's chapter and how people can get an impact from everybody. And a lot of times I think that goes to the wayside a little bit because of maybe, things that author or whatever is thinking about what their main goal is. And
well, I want to just look again. This is for those of you who are authors that may have been in collaboration books or thinking about being in a collaboration book, or even thinking of developing your own collaboration book. As Barbara said, what was the purpose beyond making money? And I get it. I mean, we're in business, so there is a money-making tail on the top end, and sometimes we don't want to talk about that. But beyond that, what was the real purpose for it? Because I think the purpose lives beyond the moment in time where we said, yay, we got it, book launch, rah, rah, rah. But then the authors never speak to one another.
Yeah.
Sometimes they've never even met. I mean, we're on virtual stages. How easy is it to bring each other together? I remember I've had several conversations with authors. You and I've even talked about it. And I asked them, I said, you've been in this great book. Did you read your book? And I was surprised at the number of people who said no. I mean, they were actually shocked that I would ask. Like, it was almost like, why would I read this book? I'm thinking, well, because you're in it with a group of people. And if you want people to buy it, you have to have buy-in of your own work, of your own self. Again, people will hear me say this over and over again. If you are unable to celebrate yourself and applaud and lift up and celebrate others, don't expect the world to celebrate you. And I know I've been in several, and one of the collaborative books, once I did read it from cover to cover, I realized this probably wasn't the best fit for me. Right? Because the messages were so uncomplimentary. It just seemed to be a lot of just different messages that were force-fed into this title. But it didn't really, collectively make a lot of sense. Again, individually, great pieces, but I thought, well, how do we all fit together?
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, just a little bit going back to the person that's putting it together, I think us as authors coming into a collaboration book, we need to look at that and ask those questions, because like you said, LaWanna, there was a few books I was in and I was reading, I was like, I don't know if I was supposed to be in this book. Ooh. Glad that I was a part of it, and I was getting my truth out, and hopefully I created that value, but it wasn't the right fit. And I found it after the fact. And I thought to myself, like you said, what could I have done before before all that happened? So you have to look at that and say to yourself, well, what is going on here? What is the true meaning of this book? So I can make sure I'm giving the right information. Because it might not just hurt me in a sense, but it might hurt the whole collaboration of the book, because I might be going down one lane and everybody else going down another lane, and now there's confusion there.
Right. And unless your placement in a collaborative book was a gift to you, there is an investment of your time and your money, right? And the worst thing is, at the end of the day, after you've invested all this and you've poured out your thoughts on paper, and you're now all bound and it's good to go and it's for sale and you've had your launch, to sit back and think, this was not the right place for me. And then you're trying to do as Barbara talks about, that force fit. You're trying to pound that square peg in that round hole. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make it stick. And sometimes it just doesn't work, which brings us to, Barbara, I don't know if you have the slide. We have an upcoming mini masterclass. And that's the other thing I'm excited about, is we are going to be doing a lot of free mini masterclasses during 2022 to help create greater awareness, help position authors and their message in a way that gets noticed, in a way that is memorable, in a way that creates impact and income. Do you have that?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up just a little bit more while I'm getting
Okay.
this together. Sorry about that.
So our first mini master class is going to be held this coming Thursday, January 6th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's 1 hour, and it's, again, a free mini master class. And it's going to be tight. It's going to be packed with information. You will walk away with some tips, some tools, with some ahas moments that you can reflect on or even apply immediately to your journey in authorship. And this is for anyone with any level of experience. It's not just for the novice author, but you could have written many books. But there are some things that we need to consider in how the world is changing, and how we communicate, how we engage, how we inform. I mean, people are being inundated left and right with so much information, so many choices. How do you magnify in such a way, or illuminate in such a way, that people pause to give your message some attention?
Yes, definitely. And we seen that this was a need. Like what we always say, what is that need out there? What is that challenge that are people having? And we both, myself and LaWanna, has been authors, and we talked to, because we're always talking anyway when we collaborate with each other. And we're like, well, this might be something that could help other authors of things that we've been finding out, what we've been seeing, what's a need, what can make it a win-win, within you being an author within the book, and a win-win for everybody else in the book as well.
Yes.
So yeah, that's definitely and sorry about this.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Technology is my friend, and sometimes it's not. So we'll just keep it going here. But yeah, so I'm really excited about it, because I know it's something is both on both of our hearts, that we said to ourselves, it will definitely be an eye opener to you when it comes to, making those decisions and making sure that, like we said before, you're on the right platform and everything at that point. So.
And this will be followed by, so we're going to have 2 mini master classes. Again, this is the first one. We'll have a second one, and it'll be held on a Saturday. Right now, we're coming up with which Saturday of the month it will be. It will be in January, but we do know we have the holiday weekend, so we want to make sure it's not on that weekend. Then it will be followed by a 4-hour master class. And the one thing that I'm excited about with this particular master class, it's not just Barbara and I talking to you, right? It's literally about you developing your plan of action, your strategy, so that at the end of that masterclass, you're going to walk away with things that you want to do. I'm not going to use the word need. You want to do that resonate best with you in order to create momentum with your in your realm, in your game of authorship, whatever that may be. And we'll be talking about different things. So in our mini masterclass, it's 5 steps to increase the impact of your social media, radio, TV, and podcast interviews. And as Barbara mentioned, because we have a lot of guests on our different respective shows, and we've been honored to be guests on other shows, we're noticing a trend, and that some things are a little missing, and where an individual could have been celebrated a little bit better, or positioned better than they were on the stage, or even realizing, oops, that may not have been the right stage to be on. And I shared with Barbara, I was so excited. I was on this great stage, and it wasn't as an author, but it was still offering a particular service. And it was the wrong audience. Again, great experience, but it was the wrong audience. So I didn't add value to her audience and didn't get what I had anticipated. But as I said, it was a lesson learned. It was an experience in practicing, that particular message and positioning. So that's the other thing, is making sure as an author, if you're writing a book and it's a book on faith, for example, and you're excited because you were invited on this talk show, and it's a talk show on fishing and wildlife. It might be a little bit difficult to make that fit, create an association, but maybe you can. I don't know. But those are some of the things that in this masterclass we're going to talk about: understanding relatability, relevance, and positioning yourself, and then making sure that it's a win-win exchange. Because when you're on someone's platform, you're on there to serve their audience. And often people don't think that way. It's like, hey, I'm being featured, yes, to serve their audience, right? The more their audience is served and is enjoying and being delighted by what they're getting by that experience, the more they're going to view it, maybe tell other people about it, create this whole expanded consciousness of whatever that platform was designed to do. So that's the one little piece of this mini class we're going to talk about is today is just think about every stage that you're on. How are you serving their audience? How are you serving their audience, Barbara?
Yeah, and also, like it said, we're talking about creating an impact. So you got to go, just think about back. I always say, go back to when you wrote that chapter and you got in the collaboration book. What was the whole purpose? What was that impact that you wanted to bring? You can't just leave it in the book and say, okay, it's there. This is where we take the next step. See, we always, like LaWanna said, a lot of times we stop it. Okay, we wrote the book is published, yay, and then we just kind of move along and then either go to the next collaboration book or say, okay, I did it, I'm an author, I'm done. But there's another step. There's another action to do, because again, you're thinking about creating an impact. People need to know. You have to have exposure. And we come together with this mini master class to give you those tips and those tools to remind you of that impact that you're trying to make in social media, in TV streaming, how to show up, how to do interviews to make sure that you're getting that exposure for your book and who you are and what you want them to know.
And I want to be very clear. This may not be for every single author. Every author isn't looking for that. When we get it, sometimes it's just, that was my dream. It was my bucket list. And I'm able to say, yes, I accomplished that. And we applaud and salute and honor you for that. And others, it may be, I just wanted to share my message, and whoever was intended to hear the message, somehow my book will find them. That's great too. But then there are those that are saying, I really want to get out there. I want people to know that I've written a book. I want people to know that I have a message. I want people to interact with me and engage with me. Or I want to make money from this book. There's nothing wrong with that. So again, how do you show up? How do you show up? That's authentic to you. So we're going to give you some tools and some techniques, but we're not going to give you a cookie cutter action step to say, okay, you need to say it this way. You need to know. This is about you being true to you, but it's a guide. And it's a guide that I know Barbara and I use in all of our platforms now, in even vetting who comes on the stage. Because all messages are, again, from an interviewer standpoint, I have to think about my audience. So all messages may not be relevant for that particular platform. But then when we talk about collaboration, so they may not fit. Like I have a show called Business and Financial Raw Talk. They may not fit Business and Financial Raw Talk, but with what Barbara is doing with the Diamond Factor and her discussion on purpose and passion and drive, I could say, well, you don't fit here, but I know someone who has an amazing platform. Let me connect the two of you and see if it'll be a good fit. So there's so much value that we can find in collaboration. Again, this mini masterclass is not just for those who have a collaborative book. It's anyone who has authored a book, a journal of some type, and you want to create more exposure and awareness of your message. Or maybe you're a professional blogger. How do you attract more people to that? And so that's what this platform is all about.
Yes, yes.
And Barbara, we are looks like we're almost out of time, right?
Yeah. So I just want
show.
your first show. Yay! I'm so glad that we're collaborating together. You just don't know I'm a little kid in the candy store. And I get excited. I know LaWanna sometimes like, okay, Barbara, tie it down a little bit. But I love it because it just shows how collaboration works in the positive manner. And if myself and hopefully LaWanna, I know she feels the same way, if we can show that, we can be leaders in that and show that, look, by collaborating, getting together, this brings your whole, what you're doing, even in a bigger realm, and you coming together, and you're not doing, and think about it, you have to do all the work. We're doing the work together and moving in that same lane that we're trying to get to and building up what I always say our empires. Because I know we have our own lanes, but it's also together. You can blend together, learn together, encourage each other, support each other, celebrate. It's all that included when you collaborate. So that's why I just get so giddy when we do things like this, because I know it's powerful. And what I always been saying recently, you go from this to in the world.
Yes.
So I just want to put down.
Power of the Pen is going to be on. It's going to be on this platform. Yes, thank you for putting up the master class. Power of the Pen is going to be on this platform on the Diamond Factor Experience every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are interested, if you're an author who has a book and you'd like to be featured, want your message to be spotlighted, please message me on Facebook, or you can email me at LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com. Again, that's LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com. And I'll send you over an application and we'll have a discussion to see if it's a good fit. The one key requirement, however, is the book must be on Amazon. It must be an Amazon available book. And the topics can range from business to self-help to, again, they're books to educate, inform, enlighten the world. So there's no, I don't want to say we're open as far as the topic. So it's not just a business show, or it's not just a self-help show or a faith-based show. We're looking for authors that, again, have a message that they want to get around the world. But it is application-based, and we are currently it's pre-recorded. So I want you to let you know that. So we pre-record the show, and the reason why is I read all the books of every author from cover to cover, because I want to make sure that it is a very rich and meaningful interview for you and for the audience. And we are already booking for airtime in March and April. So right now we are totally booked until March, mid-March. So if you're interested in being a part of this, please reach out to me. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, you can also reach out to me as well. And we can talk about what that looks like as far as sponsorship of the show. So with that, we will see you next Sunday, 2 p.m. on E360 TV, YouTube TV. You can find us also within our Celebrate You community, and we're streaming on the Bradford Group Consulting platform and many other streaming platforms. We're proud to be here as a part of the Diamond Factor Experience with the Power of the Pen, a series designed to spotlight, honor, and celebrate the power of the pen, the power of the written word, which is designed to change and shape lives all around the world. Until next time, I'm LaWanna Bradford, here with our show host and my business partner, Miss Barbara Beckley. We'll see you next week on Power of the Pen.
Bye.
Bye.